It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
It's complete. Another touchdown!
Cougar Sports Saturday. A presentation of KSL Sports.
Left wing for three. He got it again!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Brought to you by Any Hour Services, Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Here are your hosts, Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday here on KSL News Radio. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte with you on this game day. Hey, if you missed any part of the program, that great conversation Matt had with Kalani Sitake, go subscribe to the podcast feed, leave a 5-star rating and a review. Helps out the show a ton. Wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, YouTube, Spotify, we're available anywhere and however you listen to your podcasts. Also, the KSL Sports app. Download that. You can get breaking news alerts, updates on BYU sports on the app. So, highly recommend that as well. Right now, Matt, we're going to have a little bit of a different twist on our favorite segment here on the program.
The Cougar Sports Saturday Top 5. Mitch and Matt clash in a weekly battle of BYU sports knowledge. The Cougar Sports Saturday Top 5.
I love matchups like this one, BYU and Kansas State, because I expect a rocking crowd, Mitch. And when the crowd is engaged and you feel the energy, there is nothing like it in sports. It's what separates college football from the NFL. Look, the NFL is more popular, but the NFL can't replicate environments like the one we're going to have tonight. Even Kansas State head coach Chris Kleiman, he's expecting a raucous crowd.
I was there once in, I think, 2008 when I was at UNI, and I remember how loud it was. I remember how gorgeous the setting was. And I know that football is really important at BYU, and they've had great tradition of football, and they're off to a 3-0 start. So I think that as well as the fact it's a great setting, it's a night game, it's on ESPN, it's going to attract a lot of viewers and attract a lot of fans. But the fact that you've got two undefeated teams that are playing pretty well now, I think it's just going to be a great atmosphere for college football.
There's been some great atmospheres during the Kalani Sitake era. I picked out 5. I want to throw them at you. Okay. This is my top 5 great atmospheres at Lavell under Kalani. You let me know if my ranking is fair or if I'm missing anything.
Okay.
Number 5. I really thought the atmosphere was great, and there were some great storylines behind this too. 2021 Virginia, when Bronco came back right before Halloween, that was a good game, and I thought there was a really good atmosphere considering the Bronco-Kalani battle, Halloween. That was a memorable one for me.
I like that one. That's a good pick, and that was a great storyline. It was so weird, that game, because there was so much coverage given to the opponent. You know, typically on a BYU game day, we're following the every move of the BYU team. That one, it felt like I'm following the moves of Bronco, K-Pop, Justin Anderson, like all these guys that are now at BYU, and Bronco's holding it down in New Mexico. That was pretty cool. And to see Bronco come in through the Northwest entrance, it was kind of surreal. He was in LA and he hugged one of the event staff. Like, Bronco wasn't the most emotional guy, and at times, and he self-admitted he was an introvert, but you could tell it was emotional, and it meant a lot to him to be back there because his faith means a lot to him. Yeah, that was a cool game. That's a good pull.
Number 4 for me. This might be controversial, but I have a good reason for this. Number 4, you might think it should be higher. It's Utah in 2021. I just don't remember the pregame being crazy for that one. I feel like there was some fear, some trepidation. There was the streak was hanging over it. By night's end, it was a great night, and it's one of the most memorable nights in the Kalani era. But I just don't remember the entirety of that game. And then remember, BYU was up kind of big, and then it was slipping away, and it just that one doesn't sit in my mind as just a crazy, wild Lavell Edwards Stadium game.
The aura of that game was not great. because you're right. You summed it up great. The fear. BYU Utah games, you can't just enjoy the aura. The aura. You can't do a special Cougar Tail game for Utah because you're sick to your stomach. You can't eat. You can't function. So your mind is a blur. And then, oh, by the way, the scoreboard operator's panicking because they don't even know if it's going to be operating. It was like Chevy Chase. Good. And then it miraculously worked. No side panels. It was barely operating. Yeah, there was not much aura to that game. It was just, hey, we're in the Big 12 now, so win or lose, we're validated. We don't care about the Pac-12 anymore. But still, there was a lot of nerves to that. I like that angle.
You're working in a Christmas Vacation reference here. I like that. That's great. All right, number three. Number three for me, the USC game in 2019. I felt like, look, USC was, they were fine back then, but there was the storylines of Keaton Slovis. It was a 1:30. Was it an ABC game?
Yeah.
I think it was an ABC game. I felt like because you had that great win against Tennessee, that overtime miraculous Hail Mary throw from Zach to Micah Simon, I feel like the crowd came correct. And then there were turnovers, and BYU was playing well. I remember that one for a day game specifically being a really good atmosphere.
That was a lot of fun. And yes, you're right. Keaton Slovis game because he was anointed as the next chosen one for USC. It's funny how that works down there. How one guy at USC has a big game and, he's going to be a first-round pick. And I just remember after the game, the USC beat the media because they were kind of arrogant. They thought, what are we doing here at BYU? And then they're just ready to fire Clay Helton for the 80th time. All the columns were just like, how could you lose to BYU? Well, they're a better football team. Like USC was down and out, but they had great receivers, man. They had Amon-Ra St. Brown. Who else? Mike Pittman, and gosh, they had someone else.
They had St. Brown in that game.
Yes.
And Michael Pittman.
Gosh.
My goodness.
Now that you lay that out, you go, how did BYU win that? But they had some DBs too. Diane Lake was in that game, and who knows what's going on with Diane. But we love you, Diane. We love you. But just let's keep it clean here. What's next? What's number two?
Number two. The reason I have this in here is, one, the return of Jeff Grimes. You might know where I'm going with this. But that Baylor win in 2022, that was a great crowd game. And I also felt like that was kind of where the game operations took it to another level. Like that Baylor, I just remember, was that the birth of the fire dancers? I can't remember. But that was a elite atmosphere when they took down that top-ranked Baylor team. That was a great environment in 2022.
And that was kind of a glimpse of Big 12 after dark. And Brett Yormark was there, and it delivered a huge TV rating. Maybe tonight can do the same. Last time BYU beat a nationally ranked team, that was Baylor, late night, ESPN. Maybe can replicate itself tonight.
Number one, I think this is indisputable, the Arizona State win, because you were riding off the high of the Utah win. The crowd was crazy. There were so many false start penalties. That place was rocking from start to finish. That was I'll never forget that game. That to me felt like Lavell Edwards Stadium was in the top 25 toughest places to play in EA college football. It made a difference in that win against Arizona State. Number one. What do you think of the list, Mitch?
I agree. I mean, the only one I didn't have was Virginia 2021. I thought there was maybe an argument for Boise 2019. It started slow. It was rainy. And you were out in the crowd,
so
but the climb, like it was like a build throughout the game, and it was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna win this game with Baylor Romney, and they're pulling out trick plays on Boise that Boise did to teams. Like it just kind of built up to be a special moment that night. I also said Cincinnati 2023 just because first Big 12 game, sold out crowd. That was pretty dynamite. And look, here's a deep cut, and you'd never think of it, but for some reason there was some kind of aura around the game. I don't know if I'd put it 5, maybe. You're going to almost laugh at this when I say it, but there was just some sort of vibe to that game. I don't know why. Idaho State in 2021. Now, hear me out.
You are kidding me.
It was a day game. I love the navy blue look. Algier just looked so legit. He looked like an NFL All-Pro. And then you got a 5-star recruits on the sideline. You've got... it's a sold-out crowd for an FCS game. Cougar fans are living large. I don't know. Like, it just felt like, oh, my gosh, like BYU can't be stopped. They're going to the Big 12. Life is great. They're a 10-win football team. They're nationally ranked. It just was like, it was kind of like this, almost like going to a concert. You know what you're going to get, and it's just entertainment. It was just fun. And there was no stress. It was just Cougar football at its purest form. And maybe that's my argument to it.
Were you describing BYU football there, Mitch, or were you describing Beehive meals? Because that's how I feel about Beehive meals, my friend. Life can get busy. The last thing you need is added stress during dinner time. Beehive meals takes that away. I love their menu right now for the month of September. Creamy lemon chicken, burrito bowls, chicken noodle soup, apple cider pork roast. Sign me up. You can look at the whole menu, get pictures and everything on beehivemeals.com. These guys are elite.
Slow cooker meals that are made to save you time in the kitchen. Just set, simmer, serve. And look, as someone who is not a good cook, and I've said that many times here, they make it easy for me. And I can make it. The lemon chicken soup is outstanding. I love that. The honey mustard chicken's great. So many good options. The versatility, too, of the meals where you can – create it how you want to, where you get the base, you get the foundation with the foods, and then you take it how you want. And Beehive Meals is affordable, too. Like, you compare it to some of the other meal prep services, it's great prices, it's affordable, and I think it's cool, too, that they are also the official meal prep sponsor, BYU Athletics. So the athletes that you cheer for every single week, every single day, they're doing the same thing as you. They're meal prepping and with Beehive Meals, and it's a great service.
Let's take a break. We'll keep breaking down this big-time matchup tonight on the other side.